the
No
teams in
talk.
camp, and now it's starting to get serious, Greg. It's starting to get down to the point where, okay, we got 2+ weeks. We need to start zeroing in on some serious football here. So the Huskers, what is the talk around fall camp right now?
Well, run down day 10 yesterday of fall camp concluded, and we had post practice availability with the defensive side of things, and they scrimmaged on Saturday. That was their first scrimmage of fall camp. So, like I just said, we heard from the defensive side. So we heard from Eric Shenander and Travis Fisher and some of the players, and so we got the defensive side of the results from the scrimmage. And I think some of the biggest takeaways, first and foremost in my mind, was Nick Henrich was, he took a spot at the podium and started doing his interview and asked. He was asked that about his thoughts about the scrimmage. Jeez, excuse me, and he didn't even start talking about defense. He started talking about the running backs, and the running backs hitting the holes hard and really, running downhill. And it was kind of telling because it's been a progression. I mean, we kind of heard things about like that in spring camp, but now in fall camp and it's back in spring, it sounded like the offensive line was doing pretty well, and now when you think of one of the leaders on the team, inside linebacker, Nick Henrich, this homegrown boy, actually praising the running backs instead of even talking about the defense first, means a lot to me. But there's a lot been going on. We'll hear tomorrow. We get a video photo day again in the morning tomorrow. So, if you're not subscribed on 3 Nebraska Video, then you're going to miss out because we'll have 2 cameras worth of offensive, defensive highlights. So it'll be pretty sweet to see. You'll see what we see tomorrow from what we see in the media. But all in all, it sounds to me like the running back room on the offensive side of the ball is looking really good and probably a little bit better than the wide receiver room right now, as far as leadership and things like that. But the offensive line to me is still a puzzle. But I think that the best thing about the offensive line is that everybody is actually working out at every position. Just like if you were an NFL offensive lineman in training camp, because you're expected to be able to play every single position on that offensive line, because availability is the key to to being a good player. So that's all looking up, and then you switch over to the defensive side of the ball, and yesterday we heard from O'Shawn Mathis, we heard from Stephen Wynn. I already said we talked to Nick Henrich. Tommy Hill, another guy that we had a chance to speak to. And, all these guys really, transfer guys coming in, are expected to come in and put in a big effort and be leaders on this team. And O'Shawn Mathis is a guy that is just a very, very impressive guy to see in person and to actually listen to him. He is very well spoken and very wise and one heck of a player, and he's huge. He's a huge human being. This is the first time I had a chance to see him in person myself, and I was shocked about how big he is and tall. But he's when Eric Shenander was asked about his potential, and where, because we'll say kind of the theme of right now on the offensive line is that there's a lot of rotation going on, and there's rotations going on at every single room on the defense, and you hear that a lot year in and year out, but I really believe it's true this year. And there's been some diamonds in the rough that have come up on the defensive line. So my point was that Eric Shenander was asked about O'Shawn Mathis and about him moving around and stuff. He said, no, I like him. I love him at the rush end position because he's got a special type of talent. And then, everybody knows that Ty Robinson's kind of cemented in there. And you bring in the Stephen Wynn from Alabama to help in that interior. And, you're developing a Nash Hutmacher in there that has been gathering so much praise. But the biggest thing there on that defensive line is former walk-on, homegrown boy from Nebraska is Colton Feast, who has really developed himself into a guy that's going to get a lot of reps and maybe be a starter on the defensive line. So that makes so much things. You get all those bodies in there that you can rotate around, and it right now it's looking really, really good on there. And linebacker spot as well. I think Barrett Rood wants to get a lot of guys rotating in there, and in the secondary as well. And they even added, I mean, it's kind of funny, they just added another piece to their secondary today as a walk-on, a former UCF player that Travis Fisher and Scott Frost recruited at UCF. And then had injury problems and went to Florida State, and now has come here as a walk-on, given the one last hurrah. So you've got a lot of depth going on that defense, and it's looking really good. And, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm starting to ramble here. So let's take some questions, I guess.